USA Rare Earth is buying rare earths miner Serra Verde this morning group in a $2.8 billion transaction. Joining us right now is Barbara Humpton. She's the CEO of USA Rare Earth, and Thras Moraitis is CEO of Serra Verde Group. Good morning to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
This is a big deal. We never talked about rare earths probably, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? We wasn't really on the radar.
The actual metals. The band we talked about in the 70s, obviously.
But now it's everything. Why do this, and how does this help? We should also contextualize this at some point. We should talk about it. The U.S. government put a lot of money in your company, and so there's a sort of interesting thing to discuss contextually about all of this.
Yeah, let me just set the stage. I mean, the world has become too dependent on a single source, and it's high time to break that dependency. A year ago, USA Rare Earth formed and has been through a journey of pulling together the best in the industry. This announcement of Serra Verde is brilliant because what it allows us to do is have access to a producing mine that produces the 4 magnetic rare earths that are going to be serving our industry. This is a deal that's actually supported as well by 100% 15-year offtake by the U.S. government with floor prices for all 4 of those magnetic elements.
Again. What does that mean? Explain that.
The U.S. government, several agencies, as well as some private investors have come together to fund a deal where 100% of Serra Verde's product coming out of the Pela mine will be spoken for. Thras, would you like to add?
Yeah, sure. So the important notion here is that the market is broken in the sense that there are no price signals which encourage investment in upstream mining. And so if we're going to break the stranglehold that the Chinese have got over the upstream piece, which is 90%, they control 90% of
the processing capacity.
And 75% of the mining.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you look at the heavy rare earths, so the nuance between the lights and the heavies is not often made.
Right.
They control 99.9% of the heavy rare earths. And those are vital for technologies that we use every day, including magnets. And we produce those. So the US government has been very active in trying to create these price signals to encourage investment in upstream. And floor prices are an example of those types of price signals.
So in terms of funding this deal, how is it funded exactly?
Yeah, this is actually an equity deal, as well as a cash contribution.
Right.
And what this means is that the owners of the Serra Verde Group are becoming shareholders of USA Rare Earth.
But here's the other piece of this. So the government put in about $1.6 billion in January, right?
That we announced the intent for that.
Right. How much of that money is going into this transaction?
It's not.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is this is a matter of building. We are putting together the component pieces. So off of USA Rare Earth's already strong balance sheet, we have the ability to do this deal. The money that we'll be receiving from the U.S. government from the CHIPS program office goes toward building domestic production.
But here's an interesting question. If the government didn't give you that money, you would have had to use that money to build, or would you have not built and you would have just bought this company?
Prior to the government deal, we already had a plan. It was going to call for us to be building out to about 5,000 tons of magnets a year, the associated metal for that, as well as opening up a mine in Texas. Round Top Mountain is rich in heavy rare earths, and we'll bring that online in 2028. We had plans for all of that. What the government investment allowed us to do was accelerate that plan and scale it to a higher degree.
I hear what you're saying about putting the pieces together. Where's the processing part? Where do you process this at this point?
Yeah. Let me start with this, because this is probably our biggest point of collaboration. Every deposit around the world that has rare earths needs processing capacity. And we announced just 2 weeks ago an investment in a fantastic processor in France, Carister. Frederic Carenco has been an expert in this field for quite some time. USA Rare Earth has been searching for the top experts to bring this together into this platform so that we can go from mine to magnet. Now, we have some work to do to figure out how much processing gets done at Pela, who will process Round Top's offtake, and the experts in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado facility are going to be a big part of that conversation.
I'd like to add that we were pursuing the same acquisition, and they beat us to it, because it is really the key component here.
Should we think of you now as a roll-up company? Is that's the whole?
I want you to think of us as the global champion.
Right.
We're in the early innings of developing the platform that is actually going to make us the world leader, not the world leader outside of Asia, the world leader in rare earth.
And can you do this without additional investment from the U.S. government? Meaning, do the economics of this business start to make sense in a different way?
Oh, the economics of the business work beautifully. In fact, recall, the commerce deal actually validates our overall business plan, showing that, we have an operating plan without offtake agreements. The offtake agreements give us great financial security in the near term and help us get the flywheel started.
How much money do taxpayers now own, or what stake do they own in this combined company?
What we'll be doing is showing, when we announce all the final definitive agreements, we'll make it really clear where all the dollars are flowing. But there is investment both at Serra Verde as well as at USA Rare Earth.
Thras, part of the problem was back in 2014, China really took control of these markets by pushing down prices so much. Yes. Where are the prices now relative to what they were before 2014?
So the prices have actually bifurcated inside and outside China because of the restrictions that China placed last year. But they're all up in China and outside China. They're significantly higher outside, obviously, for obvious reasons, because there's no supply, in particular the heavy rare earths.
Are they rare because we don't mine them, or because they're rare? Because they're not that rare. I'm looking at these things. So neodymium is really important to make something. It's combined with what?
Praseodymium.
Iron and boron?
Yeah, to make magnets,
To make the most powerful magnet.
Yeah.
But it's as common as copper or nickel.
Yes, that's a misconception, because it might be common, but it's very hard to find in a form that's economically processable.
Okay. And you have a mountain in Texas that's got a bunch of...
We do.
Aren't there mountains all over the place that has all this stuff?
You would think so, but not so. And so the Serra Verde ionic clay deposit, very rich, especially in the heavy rare earths.
Why is it ionic? These are inert, right?
No, it's about the bond that the element has with the soil.
With the soil?
Yeah, and so that makes it very easy to separate.
All right.
So
I got it.
I know you can't fully explain this, but because I think people are sending emails. They want to understand the math of what the U.S. government is on the hook for in this particular deal.
Mm-hmm. In our case, we received $565 million from the DFC. That was set out to get us to a point where we're generating cash flow and we can expand our operations at scale and make them economic. So that's the purpose of that contribution. A part of that contribution is a set of warrants that they would receive as a result of this transaction, which would make them roughly 3% shareholder, 3 to 4% shareholder.
And your mother was a chemist, you said, didn't you say?
My mother studied chemistry.
But these were not on the periodic table.
She claims that these were not even taught back when she was going to college.
Because neodymium is 60. So, what will we get to eventually? Are there more that we don't?
There's a whole world of discovery still before us, Joe.